Rocky and Bullwinkle, bowl of Raisin Bran. Life is good, man. Life is good. Ma, I got a stomach ache. I don't think I'm going to school today. Are we good?
Yep.
All right. Hello and welcome back to Change Your Life. My name is Dwight Gillespie. I am your host. And if you haven't done so already, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you can know when we're going to be releasing on this particular channel. We release every Sunday, and you can upload good things and start your week off right. Also, go ahead and comment, share it with your friends, especially if you hear things you like. If you comment, we do answer all comments. We haven't had to do much of that lately, but anyway, we're hoping to hit it big here. We also have another channel, just so you know, it's called Trash TV Review, where you can learn. It's a bit more graphic, and you learn a lot of good life lessons over there as well. Today, we're going to talk about something that is near and dear to me, and it's something that I've covered a lot in my podcasts before. And it's a checklist before committing, and this is for women, especially for young women. I'm in recovery. I've been in recovery for many years, and I see a lot of young women come in, and I see them make a lot of the same mistakes, and young men do it too. But the young women, I think it's more lasting, and this is why. And I'll be perfectly blunt about it. A young teenage guy, a young guy in his 20s, never came home and said, "I'm pregnant." It's the women. Well, I guess they changed that now, but it is people who are capable of having babies that get pregnant, and I hear these, oh, he's so cute though. Oh, he seems so nice. Oh, and the thing that gets me is that, I think a woman's body is her most precious thing. And I see women give it up for basically a nice smile and a pair of muscles, and he seems so nice, and he's got such nice eyes, and he talks so smooth. And it seems to me that people jump right into bed, and then they wonder why this is a problem. How did this not work out? Well, geez, what could have gone wrong? I mean, you barely knew each other's last names, and you were sleeping together. And not that I'm a prude, not that I think that sex isn't a good thing or whatever like that. But when you're committing yourself to having premarital sex with somebody, right? And this is what we're talking about, is like having this premarital sex and like this falling in love. And I see it all the time. And if you go over to my other channel, which is Trash TV Review, a lot of what we review is like the Maury Show and Jerry Springer and things like that. And I talk about it because there's a lot of good light, and I do it with a lot of lighthearted humor over there. But the lessons are the same. The lessons are really good. And the lesson is like, what were you thinking? And I hear it so many times, like, oh, we were in love, Maury. We were together 2 months and I got pregnant. In 2 months, let me tell you something. Knowing a man, especially knowing a man for 2 months, you don't even know that guy yet. You haven't met him yet. You've met his representative. His representative is the guy that came to you that wanted to sleep with you. And his representative was the one that told you everything that he thought you needed to hear in order to get you into bed, because that was his goal. His goal wasn't to find a girlfriend or anything like that. He thought you were hot. He wanted to have sex. And this is what he needed to tell you to get there. To say, I'm in love. You can't help who you love, which is another bullshit thing. Now, here's the thing. All right. I'm talking about unprotected sex. I'm talking about you're not on birth control. You're not using condoms. You're not doing any of these things. And this is, by the way, ladies, how babies are born. Right. And this is how you make babies, is that a sperm producing person gets together with an egg producing person. They mix those two, and as a result, you get a baby. And I hear, oh, I loved him. And then, then you found out that he was married. Then you found out that he had 5 kids by 4 different women. So I developed this thing, and I put it on my blog. It's DwightGillespieAuthor.com, right? And that's my website. And I put it on there, and it's a thing, an effort to help women weed through these men. And these are questions that you are allowed to ask, right? You're allowed to ask these questions before you commit your body, right? Now, and I said, in a perfect world, it would be before you commit your body at all. But before you commit your body with unprotected baby producing sex. All right. These are some of the things, and I have them, I'm going to read a little bit off of here. Here's question number 1. Are you gainfully employed? Right? Because you don't want to make a baby with somebody who's incapable of taking care of a child, right? See, and they say, wow, we weren't planning on having a kid. Well, you don't have to plan on it if you're having unprotected sex. If you're not using any form of birth control, if you're not using condoms, you don't want to do this. And that's another thing. The amount of people having unprotected sex, like not using condoms, like AIDS is still a thing, people, right? Herpes is still a thing. Gonorrhea is still a thing. Like these communicable diseases, venereal diseases, they're still a thing. And you still hear all these kids that are having these unprotected sex, right? So how about this? We start off, do you have a job? Here are some follow-up questions to that. Yeah, I work. Where? All right. Because saying that, yeah, my father gives me money to mow the lawn is not exactly the same as saying, well, I have a good job. I'm working down at, I don't know, at Trader Joe's. I'm a manager there. That's a good job. Look, that's somebody who at least is capable of producing something, right? Another follow-up question to that, how long have you worked there? How many jobs have you had in the last 2 years? Because if you're talking to somebody who goes, yeah, I've had like 8 jobs the last 2 years, and the boss can only be in so many times. All right, he's not the boss. Was what made your boss? And he wanted me to show up at like 9 o'clock every day. It was just ridiculous. Like 5 days a week. This is a person who is really not interested in holding a job. People who are habitually calling out sick or not showing up or coming in late, so you want to ask, like, how many jobs have you had? Where do you see your future going? That's another part of that. Do you have a job? What are your future plans? And I know this sounds corny, right? But you're talking about bringing a baby into the world. And there are some things that you can do, right? There are certain things, and we did a podcast on this one too, like the things that you can do if you really want to make sure that you're going to mess up your life, right? There are certain things that you can do that'll guarantee you want to lead a mediocre, boring, up life where you're going to live under the poverty level. You're always going to be at odds with the world. There's certain things that you can do. Number 1 among them, have a child before you're prepared for it. Number 1, drop out of school. There's another thing you can do just to guarantee yourself. Make babies with people who aren't going to take care of them. Well, perfect. This will guarantee you that you'll be on food stamps and welfare and Section 8 housing for the rest of your life. So if you really want to live that way, that's great. These are the things that you can do. If you don't want to live that way, if you want to give yourself a chance at a good life, one of the main things you can do is make sure that the people you have a potential of making a baby with are capable of taking care of this child. So again, asking for what are your career, like what's the future? I'm not talking about having sex. Look, if somebody's hot, whatever, you have sex, all right. Protect yourself. Because oops. No, what's oops? What's oops? You don't oops when it comes to making babies. It's a very serious thing, right? How about this one? Do you have children? How many kids? Yeah. I got kids. How many? I don't know. Bad answer. Yeah, I have 2 kids. But how many women? 1. Oh, really? Okay. So you were with her for a while. Yeah, we were together. Didn't work out. Okay. Do you take care of your kids? Do you pay your child support? Yes. Really? Do you see your children on a regular basis? Yes. Because here's another thing that I hear all the time, and I hear it again. If you go over to the other channel, you'll see it. These women are like, well, I knew he had like 5 kids with 4 other women, but he didn't love them, and he loved me. Really? Do you not think that he told those women the same exact thing when he was having sex? See, because that was his representative. His representative was telling, and the representative told you the same thing, what he needed to tell them in order to get in their pants. That was the goal, right? And he got it. Do you think he told those women that he had those other babies with? I don't love you. I'm going to make a baby with you, but I don't love you, No, he said, I didn't love the last one. I love you. Like, this is different. This is real. Oh, you're my soulmate. I knew this girl in recovery. Like every 3 months, she posted about her real soulmate. I finally met my real soul. Every 3 months, she met her real soulmate, right? And then it would fall apart Because that first 2 or 3 months that you meet somebody, that's the grace period, the romance, the wonder of it all, right? And after that, and when the sex begins to fade and the representative walks away, now you get the real person comes in. Now you're in a relationship. And you don't even know this person. You've already committed to making a baby with them. So asking this person, how many children do you have? Do you take care of these kids? And if you do have 2 kids, all right, then that job at Trader Joe's, that just changed quite a bit, because that job is 40% of whatever they're making there is already going to these other 2 kids. What if you make a baby with this person? Are they going to be able to afford that many children? And that's a big question. And that's something you really have to ask yourself. So and that to me is one of the biggest things, is how do you take care of your kids? When are their birthdays? Do you see them? And that's a big thing. You get these weekend warriors, and God bless the single dad, because I understand that. And I have a lot of friends who fight hard. And it's amazing to me. It's funny. Women complain when guys are absent fathers, and they should. Don't get me wrong. But I know a lot of fathers who want to be involved in their kids' lives, and for whatever reason, the woman that they made them with doesn't want them involved. And guys, that's a key for you. And we're going to do another podcast on that as well. There are questions that men can ask too about children, okay, and about relationships, because we're not, men aren't the only ones that send a representative. Women do it too. It's human nature. We want to put our best foot forward. We want this person to like us, so we're going to tell them that we may not necessarily believe in the beginning to get there. And it's a rare thing when you find somebody who's going to be open and honest with you from the jump. When you find that person, it's very rare, but you have to dig a little bit sometimes to get to that realness, to get to what's really going on with this particular person. So are you married? That's another great one. That's a good question to ask. And I've seen that one too. And we were together. We're together for saying, then I found out he had a wife. Well, how did you not know? Did you ask? And it's a great question because if he's married, then obviously it's going to go nowhere. And again, this isn't about just having sex. This is about building a relationship, right? If you're with a person, you really feel like, oh, I really like this person. I really think I want to make a relationship with this. And again, having unprotected sex, you really should. If you're not thinking about these things, you really need to. Unprotected sex has the potential of making a baby. And having unprotected sex, for me, should only be done with somebody that you plan on having a life, like a potential life with, okay? Up to that point, you should be doing everything you can to not make a baby, all right? Do you have unprotected sex with other women? And obviously, if they have other kids, they're having unprotected sex with other women. And it's absolutely true. Now, this was big. Now, I lived through the AIDS epidemic, and one of the biggest things they said, and it got to be known, and it was a great rule of thumb, is you're having sex. If you're having unprotected sex with a person, you're having sex with every other person that person had sex with. And I remember it was a big thing back in the late 80s, early 90s. Oh, she looks clean, or he looks clean. What does that mean? Like, looks? You couldn't see AIDS. You could after a while, but in the beginning, like the signs aren't there. You don't know. You can't look at somebody and tell what kind of venereal diseases they have and things like this. And so it becomes a big thing. And look, these are just things. Again, these are things that especially women need to think about. And I know, as I said, we're going to do another podcast on the men and everything. But I think that women are more susceptible to this because, quite honestly, men are more fully, and most men are going to say whatever they need to say in order to get in there, and this goes for gay couples too. I remember telling a friend once, my life would be so much easier if I were gay, right? And she's like, no, it wouldn't, because then you got to deal with scumbags like yourself. And I'm like, okay, touche, right? And I got to be honest with you. I've never really been that guy, like I haven't. But look, I've sent my representative on an occasion or two, But that's what it is. And ladies, if you don't want to make babies before your time, then these are the things you really need to think about. And by all means, listen. If you're young, look. Watch the other. I tell you, we have some really good podcasts over there. On YouTube, on the other channel, the Trash TV Review, and young women especially. Please go watch them. Go watch them and see these other women who they're girls. They're not women. They're girls. I'm talking 16, 17 years old, getting pregnant by these boys who don't give a shit. I don't want to ruin my life with a kid. Well, you should have thought about that before you laid down. Anyway, it's food for thought. My name is Dwight Gillespie. This is a Change Your Life channel. Please, by all means, again, subscribe, like, comment, share, do all that good. Ring the notification bell so you know that when we're releasing new stuff. And we want you to look out. We're doing this thing. It's called 75 Hard. And this is something I'm going to be doing at 59 and a half years old. I'm going to take the 75 Hard challenge. And basically, it's to prove that over 55, you can build muscle, you can lose weight and build muscle. I've lost 90 pounds so far. We're going to do the challenge. Dwight, I am the Dwight Gillespie right here. I am fat phobic, and don't you forget it. Scared to death of getting fat again. My life has gotten so much better losing weight, not just because I look better, but because I feel better. I'm healthier, and that's what it's all about. I never knock anybody for the way they look. I don't. But I got to tell you something, losing weight, I feel great. I feel better. I look better. My health is better. I'm off of all my medications. Things are very good. Until next time, America, be well. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.